Hello there, folks, and welcome to Bru Time, episode number 28 already. This week we're going to be chatting to Holly and Paul, who together form Riding from Reality. They rode a couple of 125cc Sinnis Terrain motorbikes all the way to Ulan Ude in Russia, competing in something called the Mongol Rally. It's a great story. I can't wait for you to hear. But first, we have a sponsor. Ultimate Add-ons are the premium manufacturer of mobile phone and action camera mounting solutions for motorcycles, with a kit for any bike and a proven track record of creating products that keep your devices safe, secure and easily accessible. The Ultimate Add-ons product range is ideal for any rider, from the commuter to the round-the-world traveller. Why shell out on an expensive GPS system when you could use your smartphone, keeping it charged and within reach to take photos of your travels at the same time? Ultimate Add-ons waterproof, shockproof and dustproof tough cases are available for all flagship smartphone models and are designed by riders for riders. Find out why Ride Magazine gives Ultimate Add-ons their coveted Best Buy certification. Keep riding this winter with Ultimate Add-ons. It's all about the journey. And folks, if you head to ultimateaddons.com and use the code TeapotOne10, so it's TeapotOne all in letters with 10, the number 10, you'll get 10% off. Now folks, word of warning, I've had to rely on the Zoom call audio for Paul and Holly. The quality's not great. I've tried to fix it as much as I can, and I hope you can bear with it because their story is definitely worth listening to. Enjoy. Folks, welcome to Bru Time 28, and this week we've got Paul and Holly, kind of collectively both known as Riding from Reality, or is that... Yeah, collectively. These maniacs rode all the way to Ulan Ude, which is in Russia, in something called the Mongol Rally, which we'll chat about, on 125cc motorbikes. Not only that, but Holly passed their CBT in order to do it. So they have a hell of a story. Guys, how you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Awesome.
Been a nice busy day, but, you know, being on the bike's not a bad thing, is it?
Excellent. These two are no different than a lot of the other sort of overland legends that we've had on here. They are the most laid back and, what's the word? You play down your achievements massively. So, just rode to Russia. It's an amazing thing you've done. So, believe you me, folks, it's pretty special what they've done. Right, let's crack on. We have lots of questions put up on social media. Loads of people have given us some questions, so there's loads of us to cover. But I think first off, if I throw the floor open to you guys just to say a little bit about who you are, where you come from, what you did, and then we'll go into some depth about it. How about that?
Cool. Are you first?
Over to you.
Oh.
Hello, I'm Holly. I've been riding motorbikes for about 2 years. I guess we're here because we did the Mongol Rally, which it's basically a ride from London all the way to Mongolia. Technically it finishes in Russia, but hey-ho. And yeah, you're not supported along the way and you have to take an unsuitable vehicle. So if you're on a motorbike, it's less than 125cc, and if you're in a car, it's 1.2 litres or less. We took some Sinnis Terrains and it was brilliant. Absolutely wonderful.
That's it. So end of the podcast. Hope you've enjoyed that one.
Yes, bye, see you guys.
Yeah. I should probably say who I am and what I do, right?
Yeah.
Okay. In normal life, I work in a climbing wall as a route setter. So basically I get paid to run up and down ladders all day and make climbs for people. I then test them and make sure they work, so I get paid to climb as well. It's a pretty good life, but I'm injured most of the time.
Awesome. Well, there's lots we can chat about that. But first, Paul, over to you.
Yep. Hi, I'm Paul. I've been riding a little bit longer than Holly. I've been riding for 16 years now. Before doing the Mongol Rally, I've done various trips across Europe, Alaska, Southeast Asia on different bikes, more like flyaway trips rather than really long ones. I actually run one of the walls that Holly works at, which is actually where we met a couple of years ago. And yeah, just take care of the day-to-day running of people basically coming in to climb. It's like working at an adult playground. It's great.
Excellent. Climbing and motorbikes. It's the perpetual playground, isn't it? Awesome. Right. Okay then. Well, there's plenty that we can chat about. I've found so far, the best way to do this is crack on with the questions, and then that opens up so many different avenues of conversation, and we'll no doubt just cover everything and anything as we go. Is that okay?
Oh, while I remember,
Yep.
I passed my Mod 1 on a big bike yesterday.
Hey, well done. Congratulations.
Stuart from London Motorcycle Training says hi.
Okay. Oh, who was that?
Stuart from London Motorcycle
fantastic.
Training.
Excellent, great stuff. Hi Stuart, how are you? That's awesome, good stuff. So you've got Mod 2 to go?
Yeah.
Right.
Because of COVID, I have to wait until December to do it.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
I love this. You've still not even got the full unrestricted license yet, but you've ridden to Russia.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Right, folks, what we'll do first then, as usual, we'll go straight across over onto my Patreon, to the clan. So massive thanks to all of you over there. Patreon.com/TeapotOne. First one, Matt Jordan. While on the trip, what did you find yourself missing the most, and what did you find yourself wishing for on those difficult days?
Well, I know what mine was. On the days where it was raining and freezing, I really wanted a hot shower and to not have to.
How it's amazing, isn't it, how much you value a shower when you're on like a trip like that. Just a shower. Oh, it can change everything for you.
Yeah, especially after 2 weeks of not showering.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And your clothes are sticking to you. You're like, oh, mistakes were made here.
What's the longest you went without a shower?
It was on the way back, wasn't it?
Maybe 10 days?
Yeah. It's horrible, isn't it? Absolutely horrible. What time of year was it that you went? You did the Mongol?
We left the end of June, wasn't it? No,
Yes.
July.
July?
Yeah.
July until September.
Jeez. So you would have hit proper July, August, through the stands and everywhere like that? Mega hot.
Oh, yeah. Turkey at over 40 degrees. That was fun.
Ooh. That's gonna be aromatic, isn't it? And bike kit.
Yeah, maybe next time we'll do 2 tents instead.
Yeah, good point. I did it in leathers, so I can fully sympathise.
You're probably peeling them off you, Bruce.
Mate, it's rancid. Just rancid. The leathers, I'm still not allowed to bring my leathers inside, and that's 8 years ago, 9 years. They're just hanging up in the garage. Yeah. Paul, did you answer that? What did you miss most?
Ooh. I mean, not having a sore ass for one, but no, I really enjoy being on the road. So
Yeah.
I actually like life being a bit more simple. Get to A to B, eat somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
But I would say that I missed comfort food. So convenience food.
Did you?
Rather than having to make noodles for the 800th time or porridge in the morning, I miss just being able to just rock up somewhere and go, yeah, I want to eat that. That looks good. I love that. Cheers.
Is that what you lived on? Did you just take like pressed noodles with you and just eat as you went? Wow.
I think Holly hasn't eaten porridge since the trip, actually.
Put you off for life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I suppose so, yeah, especially in places like a lot of the stands in Mongolia. I suppose there's... Because I just ate where the locals ate. You know, you just...
Yeah, we did sometimes as well.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll tell you what, I'll take it like that answer. A proper cup of tea.
How British.
Genuinely, a proper British cup of tea. Especially when you're in Tajikistan and they're offering you hummus. Did you ever get to try that, Bruce?
Hummus? No.
Hummus.
What's that?
Fermented milk. Fermented goat's milk.
Oh, they do that in Mongolia, don't they, as well? Something like that.
They do it all across there. We tried it once and never again.
Don't recommend it then, no? Wow.
Oh,
yeah, I didn't have that pleasure.
No, it's like yogurt, but it's been left in the sun for a couple of days.
It's fizzy.
Sounds divine.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain you could probably like degrease your bike with it as well. But
I was especially disappointed because I thought they said hummus, and I really like.
Nice bit of pitta with it. Oh yeah, lovely. Nope.
We would have stayed there then.
Do you know what? I've said this before on mine, but I found myself some days, I just woke up and I thought, I just want to be sat on my couch in my pants watching crap TV. And
oh god, yeah.
And I couldn't find I couldn't believe I was like in some amazing, beautiful part of the world, riding a bike on the trip of a lifetime, and yet I'm thinking, I'd just like to be at home in my pants. That would be nice. You know?
Yeah. I just wandered to the kitchen, put the kettle on,
Yeah.
come back with some biscuits, yeah.
Yeah.
What wraps on now?
I don't think I wanted that. If it'd been a shower in the middle of nowhere, that would have been enough.
Yeah.
I
Nice.
like being out.
Well, you've done some pretty amazing. Did you not hitchhike to? Was it Nordkapp? You hitchhiked to?
Top of Norway.
Yeah. You just,
Yeah.
this is what I mean.
It was quite, but close enough.
Hitchhiked to the top of. Yeah, I just hitchhiked to Norway. Go
In the
on.
middle of winter.
Tell in the middle of winter. Okay, so what is it like? -20, -30, something like that up there.
Minus 35 in some places.
Okay, so what's the story behind this then, Holly? Come on,
Well, I'd quit my PhD
as you do.
because I didn't like it. And then I went to Montenegro to research dolphins for a while. And then that finished. And I didn't have a job. And I'd always wanted to see the Northern Lights.
Yeah.
But because I had no money, I had no other way to get there. So I just hitchhiked from the middle of Germany by myself up to the top of Norway. I think I spent the last money I had on the best sleeping bag I could afford, which unfortunately meant the tent I had to take was a single person kids scout tent, which was too short for me. So yeah, I didn't spend a single penny.
Oh my God, that's incredible. And how old were you when you did that?
25, 24, something like that.
Jesus, that's amazing.
That's 3 years ago, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's. I mean, that in itself is an amazing achievement. That's nuts. I don't think I'd have the bottle to go and do something like that. Wow, and I'm old. Wow.
I mean, you do look slightly scarier than I do. You might be slightly less likely to be picked up.
Yeah, I don't think anyone would. And anyone that did pick me up, I'd have to proper worry about them, wouldn't I?
Dress up in a red suit, Bruce. You'll be fine at that time of year.
I know, yeah, that's right, yeah. With a big... I was going to say...
To see the Northern Lights.
Yeah. Oh, how is that? I've only ever seen the Northern Lights in Scotland, and they're impressive there, but they're nowhere near as vivid and like Northern Norway. That must have been amazing.
It was. I got incredibly lucky. So the different colours happen depending on how high energy the particles are that come through the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And it was a really high energy event while I was there. So I got to see all of the different colours. So it was like green and pink and yellow and red.
Wow.
And it was beautiful. Absolutely amazing.
That's
So glad.
That's a sort of dream of my wife's, actually. To she really wants to see the proper full-on Northern Lights. So I took her. It was actually to propose. I took her to Iceland for Valentine's back ages ago, years ago, and had it all laid out. You know, the tour, the Northern Lights tour, and everything like that. And then the night before we went, they had an amazing display. They were like, even the Icelandics were saying that was incredible. That was beautiful. Who's coming out tomorrow? And we were like, yeah, we're on it. And they said, excellent. It's set. As long as the cloud doesn't come in, it'll be beautiful. Well, you can guess what happened. About 5 o'clock, 5:30, the cloud came in, and they were like, oh, we'll have to cancel it. So we didn't get a chance to see it. And I just thought, that's a sign. That's got to be a sign. So I didn't ask her. I didn't propose. And then I got the opportunity to go away on my trip again. I picked up a sponsor. So the next thing I know, that was me off. So I'm going off travelling around the world again. And I didn't propose until much later in the trip when she came to America and we met up in New York. But yeah, before all that had happened, I'd obviously asked her dad, can I have your permission to marry your daughter? So he'd said yes, and then I buggered off around the world. So he thought I'd had second thoughts and just thought, no, I'm not going to. But we still...
Dear.
And he's only just found out now.
Yeah,
Hey!
no, we have told him the story. But yeah, I still have to, take her somewhere to see the Northern Lights. So we'll have to sort that out. What's that? Tromso. Yeah, beautiful, isn't it? It's amazing. It's an amazing city, Tromso, isn't it? Because it's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, and it's got this weird park that goes over all their roads and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's a weird underground roundabout. Yeah.
And it's like it looks like something out of Lord of the Rings because it's set in the most amazing scenery. I just remember these big like pinnacle mountains and fjords everywhere along the coast, and all of a sudden there's this little wee city just plonked in. Yeah, beautiful place.
Really hard.
Are you going to go back? You got any plans to go back to Norway?
I would love to. So I've done it in the winter, and I really want to take him in the summer.
Yeah, that'd be nuts. You do that on the Sinnis, on the new 380.
Yeah. I would more than happy do it on a 380. Or a 125, doesn't really matter.
What's the new 380 like then? Because I know you've had that to play on.
I've had no idea what you're on about. Definitely wasn't Greenland today. No, it's actually...
No, not all over your Instagram. No way, no.
No, it's really nice. Because these were the two... Sinnis has lent us the prototypes. So it's not the full production model, but we have ridden at that one at the Overland event, which was quite good. Yeah. So I know what the differences are. And ironically, like the shortfalls of it are the things that they've fixed, which is what you want. But it's really nice. I mean, the only bike I can really compare it to is the CB500, which is what I've got already.
Yeah.
And it is knocking on the door of what the big boys are doing. Wow. Definitely.
Oh, that's interesting. I've got it coming in, I think a couple of weeks. I think I've got the 380, or maybe mid-November I might have it. I can't remember.
That means you'll get one of the full versions then.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I'm looking forward to trying it.
Yeah, end of the month they're due to land for the first people who've put the deposits down.
Yeah, mega. Yeah. I was really impressed with the one you guys rode to Russia, the 125cc one. I was well
the terrain,
impressed.
because you had a little punt on that, didn't you?
Yeah,
when we met up the first time, and I completely messed up the video and audio. Basically everything, really.
Shall we mention that? Shall we?
Yeah, go on then.
Originally, Paul and Holly were supposed to be on. I was going to do one of the moto casts where I ride around on the bike and chat. So we'd set up the comms to have a little chat, and you had a helmet camera and everything, and it was good, wasn't it? We had the day where we're all riding around on these Sinnis Terrains, and everything was great. Then you got home, checked, and nothing had worked.
Nothing had worked, yeah.
Hence why you never heard anything till now.
Yeah. Ta-da.
So hopefully this is all working. Let me make sure I'm recording. Yeah, I'm recording. Yeah, recording.
We're recording. It's flashing at me. We've upgraded our gear since then.
Well, hopefully it's all going to work. Right, Next question then. Ben Tiffin. A question for Paul and Holly. Having done what you have on a Far Eastern manufactured budget bike, do you think that your trip would have been made easier or more convenient on a bike made by one of the big five, especially in the case of reliability and durability of parts?
No. In a word, the bikes didn't break down.
Yeah.
Like what we did to do is there was one small issue with Holly's bike towards the start in Romania, where it was leaking oil, and all it was a couple of bolts were loose. It literally was that, Beautiful. And along the way is when we got to the rough stuff around the Pamir Highway and Mongolia, every evening we'd just do a little maintenance check on it to tighten up all of the bolts and stuff, make sure the chain was okay, lubricate it. But yeah, they never broke. Other than consumables, like we changed the chain towards the end, rear sprocket in each bike, and a couple of headlight bulbs that blew.
Yeah.
Other than that, like it was generally bomb-proof.
And we dropped them a lot.
I had an accident on my one at 50 miles an hour, and I came off worse than the bike. So
yeah, go on. What happened on that?
Embarrassing moment. No. So we got into Turkmenistan after spending 12 hours at the border, which is a record for us anyway. I'm sure people have had a lot worse. But yeah, 12 hours. They finally let us into the country because their president was visiting, and they just wanted to get everyone out the border. It's like, the president's coming, bugger off.
Yeah, that'll do.
Thanks for that. Yeah. And we were heading towards the Gates of Hell. For those who don't know what the Gates of Hell were, about 40 years ago, a huge gas crater appeared in the middle of Turkmenistan, so as they just dropped down around that part of the world. Now, before they mine it, they normally just light the residual gas that's been coming out of it on fire to burn it away and then start drilling. So they lit it on fire, and it's been burning ever since.
Wow.
So it's this massive, how wide is it? It's about 40, 50, probably about 50 meters wide.
20 meters deep.
70 meters deep, and it's burning constantly. There's fire all the way around it.
Wow.
Really weird.
So they just turned it into a tourist attraction, which is why wouldn't you?
Oh, wow.
They put a really crap fence around it.
Which one climbs over.
Yeah. And the road getting into it's rubbish, and the road getting out of it is rubbish, because what the locals do is they put sand on it to get people trapped, and then they the locals turn up and go, "We'll drive it out for you, but you have to pay us."
Oh, that old
So
chestnut. Yeah.
Yeah, they were scamming it, and we was like, nah. But anyway, we was heading there. I'm diverged already. We was heading there. It was late at night. We was really tired. I was looking down at the map on my phone, the GPS, looking for a petrol station. Like literally taking my eyes off the road. We're doing 40 miles an hour. The road's quite nice, and ended up drifting off the side of the road. And the side of the road there is sand.
Oh,
so
nice.
I look up and go, tried to slow it down just by, dropping off on the power, dabbing the rear brake. The front wheels either hit a rock or dug in.
Yeah.
Well, me and the bike have gone down. Bike's literally flipped all the way over and landed on my head. And I was spread eagle on the floor like that.
Is that when it did your rear?
It's landed on my helmet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happened is it caught my helmet pulled up and it tore my ear all the way up here. And it was hanging on by about 2 or 3 millimeters of skin.
Oh.
I thought he was messing around out there.
You were like, get up.
You need to go the road.
Yeah, so Holly stopped and literally threw the bike off my head.
Yeah.
Which was good. Good job it's only 160 odd kilos, I'll tell you that.
Still bloody good, though. Gee whiz, good
Yeah,
effort.
if it was a GS, I'd be dead right now. Imagine having the engine casing landing on your head.
Yeah.
I would recommend if you ever have to throw a bike off someone, don't do it by the engine. It's really hot. That's a bad idea.
You get that superhuman strength, though, don't you? You don't care. Let's just lift it.
Didn't even feel the weight.
Wow.
Yeah, but like I had my ear ripped up. The only thing that really happened on the bike was the crash bars had bent and the dash had popped out. So the little clips holding the dash in had just popped out and it wasn't working. That was literally it.
That was the first time.
Got up, started it, carried on for another about 5 or 6 hours to try and get to the gates of hell that day. Yeah.
What, with your ear hanging off?
Not quite. Thankfully, a rally team had gone past, seen what had happened, turned around, came back, and they'd been sponsored by a pharmaceutical company.
Happy days.
So they were just cleaning me up and they stuck it all back together.
Wrapped a bandage all
around my head, helmet back on, carry on. We never made it to the gates of hell that day, but we weren't that far off.
We made it the next day.
Yeah, the next day. And I got my ear stitched up there as well, which is quite good. So we got to the gates of hell. We stayed there all day just to recover.
Yeah.
In the evening, more Mongol Rally teams turned up. One of them was a fully qualified doctor with all of the kit. And by head torch and beer, she stitched my ear up.
Happy
Thanks,
days.
mate.
Happy days. Do you know, I had never heard of the Mongol Rally till I heard about you guys, and then we sort of really met. I think the first time we met was at the London Excel show, wasn't it, on Nathan's Overland stage? Yeah,
on Nathan's one, yeah.
And I've got to admit, I've been looking more and more into the Mongol, and I am sorely tempted. I love the idea of it. How long did it take you guys?
10 weeks, I think.
10 weeks.
We booked 8 weeks off work, but that was going to happen.
That's awesome, though, because I mean, you've properly gone to like the overland, the real overland staple places. The ones I didn't do, the stands. You went right through Turkmenistan. Did you must have done Azerbaijan, did you? And the Pamir's top of Pakistan, isn't it?
The Pamir was wonderful.
Oh, I'd love to see all that.
As much time as possible on it.
Yeah.
We'll lend you a bike, Bruce. It's fine.
Do you know, I am sorely tempted. Do you know, especially now that I'm in a very fortuitous position now where effectively making content, creating content is my living. So I can do that on a trip as long as I've got internet access and I can keep doing it. But obviously, the wife, I have to sort of convince the wife that I'm just going away for 8 weeks, 10 weeks, something like that. So,
well, at least it's not a year or two.
This is true, and I will use that. I will use that. I'll say, well, look, it could be worse.
Yeah,
she'd probably be happy to get rid of me, to be honest. For that
right. Yes, you've been winding me up. You've been indoors all the time.
Yeah.
Or you could get a sidecar, Bruce.
Sidecar.
That could work. Get an old Ural.
Yeah. What did you meet? You must have met the sidecar guys at the Overland. So I had them on here. That's nuts what they did. Just crazy.
Their scooter. Yeah. Oh, jeez.
In fact, you'd have met Roxy as well. I had Roxy on.
Yeah,
she
we
was at
met
the
Roxy
Overland.
Overland.
It's lovely.
Yeah, we've been following her before then, so it was actually nice to meet a whole bunch of the faces. It's like, we know you people, but we've never met you. This is great.
She's exactly like you. You know, she plays down what she's done. You're like, you've ridden a not even a modern Fireblade with all the bells and whistles, a 1999 Fireblade across the Pamir Highway. It's nuts, crazy. And she's just like, oh yeah, I just rode my bike. You're like,
Yeah,
wow.
that's it. One day at a
As you
time.
do, yeah, nuts. Right, so I think, well, going with what Ben was saying there about people seem to have this thing in their head that Chinese manufactured bikes are like sub quality, and okay, yeah, they used to be, definitely, and you can still buy horrors. But a lot of the big 5 manufacturers that you're talking about, Ben, a lot of their bikes or parts of their bikes are manufactured in China. Your BMW,
In the same factory,
Harleys,
actually.
absolutely, yeah. In fact, the Terrain 125, that engine is the engine that goes in the GSX-S 125, the Suzuki.
Yeah.
It's the same
It's
thing.
the same one, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, right, okay. Well, we've flown the flag there.
We can go. I can go on about that forever, but yeah.
It's I mean, it is interesting to talk about, isn't it? Because it's not the same as electric, but I find this every time I do a vid on an electric bike, and the reason this is coming up is I've just published a couple on the Harley Live.
You did the live wire, yeah.
And it always stirs up a lot of debates in the comments, you know, and you get sort of 3 distinct fields of people: pro electric, who love it,
Yep.
whether they've ridden it or not, they love the idea of it. You get people in the middle who've ridden it and they either like it or they don't like it, but they've got a balanced opinion on it. And then you get the ones that just, not a chance. Am I over my cold dead hands? You're not getting the keys for my petrol bike. And it's like, yeah, you just ride one. I was you, ride one, you know? And I think people have got that opinion, don't they, about sort of Chinese bikes, the little bikes. And
They seem to.
sorry?
Oh, I just think they do seem to.
Yeah, I mean, it is. And I know why, because they were horrific originally, weren't they? And you do get some pretty... You get the horror stories coming through of, you know, Chinese bikes, the frames just snapping, the engines blowing up, all sorts of stuff. But these days, no. The QA is huge. Every bit is good. Anyway,
Yeah, they've come a long way.
they have, definitely. And, well, I've tried the Sinnis Terrain and loved it. You guys have ridden one across Mongolia to Russia. So the fact that you did that speaks volumes, massive volumes, because there's plenty of GSs out there that haven't made that journey without breaking down in some shape or form. So, you know, it's no simple feat that you put that bike through, or bikes through. So I didn't get that.
Every day. We've put them through a lot, and I still ride mine every day around London.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you had yours nicked, didn't you?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it got stolen, and then someone just didn't ride it very nicely. I know this because we got to see the video of them in the bus lanes for all the tickets they got. Then we found the bike, and it still works.
That was great. Was that basically driven through social media that you got the bike back?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. I love
Someone
that.
recognised it from one of the posts and called it into the police, and they called us.
Brilliant. That's just such a good little story, that, isn't it? Brilliant.
It was. I mean, the chances of getting a recovered bike are like 1 in a million. So that was incredible.
I know, yeah. You must have been distraught because that bike, God, must be like part of you now.
Yeah, I'm never getting rid of it.
Yeah, I feel like that about the old beast, about the Jigsaw. She's part of me. Can't get rid of it.
You can't do it. No. Die in breath.
Yeah. Then no. Even then, no. It's coming with
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. In the box, you're gonna have to make a really big one. Burn us together.
Next one, Ethan Hardwick. He's not really got a question. He just wants to say he was lucky enough to see you speak at the Overland this year, and he said your talk was brilliant.
Oh, thanks, Ethan.
Thanks, Ethan.
Cheers, Ethan.
Appreciate it.
Next one, David Hemmings. What was the greatest difficulty that you found on the trip, and how did you overcome it? Ooh.
Good question.
Sand.
The biker's
Definitely
favourite.
sand for me. And I overcame it by going slowly,
Oh,
to be honest. Yeah.
I thought with sand you're supposed to go really quick.
Well, I'm terrified of doing that sort of stuff.
Me too.
So, no, I went slowly. And it may have taken us a whole day to do 30 miles, but we made it eventually. And I think that just kind of proves you don't have to be the fastest or the most confident. You can still do it.
Yeah, you get through. Yeah. I mean, I spent a lot of my sort of off-roady stuff literally paddling the bike through just because I got a clue what I'm doing. Basically, yeah. And as you said, it might take you all day to do 20 or 30 miles, but you'll still cover the distance eventually.
Yeah. And you'll still be alive at the end of it as well.
Yeah. I've seen excuse me, I was watching Lyndon doing the Dakar, the races to places and all that sort of stuff.
Races to places of Lyndon Polska, yeah.
Oh man! And when you watch them when they were doing the Africa Eco Race and they're going over the sand dunes and they're tearing along, pinned, going across the sand, and then all of a sudden they just that really soft soup sand that just swallows. What's it called? Fesh, yeah. Well, you see them just hitting that, and the bike just, the front wheel sinks, doesn't it? And over the front you go, no thanks, I don't fancy that.
No. I think we've long established that we don't like sand. We'll take almost anything but sand.
Yeah. Right, so sand. What about you, Paul? Sand the thing for you, or was there something else that you found?
I didn't like sand, but I got just, as with any off-road surface, you kind of just get used to it and you drop your bike and you pick it back up again and it's fine. Hardest thing, and how do we overcome it? Anxiety, actually, something completely different. Is one thing that we spoke about, and it was on our overland thing as well, is that both me and Holly suffer from long-term anxiety and depression. It's just something been part of our life for so long. And doing a big trip like that, when anxiety is part of your everyday life, doing something even bigger gives you even bigger anxieties. So just trying to push those on a day-by-day basis actually was the biggest challenge. Even just like pulling into a town and trying to talk to someone who doesn't speak English, he's going to look at you in a very weird way, just to ask him if they're anywhere around to get petrol or food. Yeah. It just sets everything just triggered. But you kind of just have to take a deep breath and push through it. And it takes a while because, no, I'll just ask the next person or the next person. But eventually you get to a point where it's like, okay, I have to do this.
You've got to do it, yeah.
Yeah. So I would say that was the hardest thing on the trip.
Wow, fair play to you. Good God. That's amazing. So both of you suffer with that, and yet you both decided you were going to go away and do this insane trip.
I think I decided we were going to do the trip.
You signed yourselves up for it, didn't you? You signed a pair of you up for it.
I didn't think he'd want to come unless I just did it. He'd be like, "Oh, let's see. We'll think about it in future." So I signed up.
So Paul, you're the balanced reason side of the relationship, and Holly, you're the fuck it, let's go for it side.
I don't know. I think it goes in swings and roundabouts, but in this case, it definitely went that way. It was more of a cautious, and Holly's like, "No, well, we're doing it now."
So, tell me, how did that conversation go down then? You just come home one day and go, "Dear, I've signed us up for something."
Basically, I mean, he told me about the Mongol Rally, and I was like, "That's an awesome idea."
So it's your own fault then, Paul.
Yeah, it's completely my own fault.
Yeah, you shouldn't have told me about it. And then, I looked into it. I was like, I totally want to do that. Don't really know how to ride a bike, but let's go for it.
I think you was on your CBT at the time, wasn't you?
Yeah.
Your YBR.
And I passed so you need at least an A1 to travel internationally. I think I passed that a month before we set off.
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks before.
Awesome.
And you did it on the Sinnis as well after some not very successful attempts.
I love this. The U-turn.
I hate them.
That gets I failed my first test because of the U-turn. Yeah. And I had English biker Dan on here as well, another YouTuber. Yeah. And he failed it as well on the U-turn. Yeah. Gets so many people. In fact, if you do a U-turn first time round, you're a freak as far as I'm concerned. I bet you did, didn't you? I bet you did.
Actually, this is how it's a strange thing. This is where I'm going to start feeling a little bit older. I did my test before the Mod 1, Mod 2 thing came in.
Oh, yeah, me too. Oh, yeah, me too.
Yeah,
oh,
on the road. Yeah. But no, yeah, I passed my bike test first time.
Oh, yeah, well, aren't you great? Aren't you great?
I held my car test, though, so there you go.
Oh, did you? Oh, no, I didn't.
Yeah,
I passed
that
that.
took 2.
My son's just trying to learn to, well, I'm saying he's trying to learn to drive. I've paid for 2 sets of 10 lessons and he still hasn't passed his test, so I'm not convinced he's actually even doing it. But yeah, he's having a nightmare.
He just wants you to pay taxi, that's all.
Yeah, well, yeah, but he lives in Glasgow and yeah, I think he's just drinking the money. We'll see. Right, where was that? That was Ethan. No, that was David, wasn't it? Greatest difficulty.
Yes.
The next one. Pete English. Have you heard about Pete English?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, Pete.
Pete's questions can be quite soul searching. Let's see what he asks. Hi guys, hope you're all fit and well. Question to you all. Deja vu is a bizarre phenomenon. Have you ever experienced it on your travels, knowing you've never seen or been to that place before? Oh, good one, Pete. Like that.
I like that, yeah.
Definitely. I get it a lot.
Do you?
There have been literally whole weeks of my life where I feel like I know what's going to happen for the whole week. I don't know why it happens so much, but it's just really weird.
Wow.
I don't know if I'm half asleep and just registering things half a second after they happen or what, but yeah, I swear like I've been there or I've dreamed it or something. It's really weird.
Do you smoke funny cigarettes at all or eat funny mushrooms?
No. I don't even really drink that much.
Wow. Yeah, what about you, Paul? Have you ever had it?
I have, yeah, on trips as well, but trying to apply logic to the situation, you know, as a bloke, as we do, is I think there's like certain top points is like if you've seen a certain place, like in like watching someone else's trip or in a picture or something, and then you come across it, you're like, I feel like I've been here before.
Yeah.
Like maybe it angles back to what you've seen like in preparation to it. Like, you know, watching like Long Way Round or something like that, where you've covered some of the same things that they did, and you're like, yeah. That
it is a weird thing though, because I've definitely experienced it on my trip, and even just like tours. Like you go for a ride on a bike, and there's definitely times when you're like, oh, I've been here, I know this, you know, like that exact situation. It's almost like you've looked at a photograph and now you're living the photograph, isn't it? And it's I don't quite understand it. Who does?
I don't know how it works.
What's that?
No idea how it works.
Pass.
It's real.
They all say, well, not they all. Joe Rogan goes on about the what do they call it? It's like the Matrix. So we're all actually simulation. We're all in some crazy. Mind you, he does smoke a lot and take a lot of substances, but yeah, he's convinced that we're all in some sort of simulation like the Matrix. Who knows? Who knows?
I would like to complain to the creative writers then.
Yeah, why did you cut my ear off?
Yeah.
There's a theory that the whole universe is actually a simulation.
That the whole universe?
Yeah. It's like a genuine theory that people are looking into. Well, theory's not the right word because it's not been proven. So hypothesis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the one that Joe Rogan talks about. Yeah. And he's convinced. He's convinced it is. And you're like, I don't know. My mind can't compute any of that.
Yeah. Like, does that mean we should just sit around and wait for stuff to happen for us?
Yeah.
Because it's already predetermined or not?
That's
strange.
That's the thing, isn't it? Because I think if you honestly did think that, then would you not just sit back and go, well, what's the point? I'll just wait. I'll just wait for things to happen.
It will happen, yeah.
And life
never will.
No, life don't work like that. You've got to get off your arse and make it happen, don't you?
Yeah. You're going to make it happen for you, not the other way around.
Yeah.
Which is why the Mongol Rally.
Exactly. Case in point. Live your life. Love it.
Full circle.
Absolutely. Right. There you go, Pete. We've sorted it. Deja vu. Bosh. Done. Paul Foster. Hi to you all. What was the most memorable part of your trip? And if you were to do it again, would you use the same bike? P.S. Did Bruce tell you about his trip? Cheers, Paul. So, most memorable part of your trip?
Probably the Pamir Highway.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it there. I mean, we went up the main route, but there's some other ones as well, and I'd love to spend a few months just exploring them all.
Yeah.
So, such a wonderful place.
What sort of time scale did you take to do that section? Can you remember?
Yeah, it was
it like 10 days?
10 days for the
About 10 days, I think. And I think what I found particularly impressive about the bikes, because he said, would I take the same one again? I probably would, because I still don't have my full license. But yeah, like the highest point of the Pamir is 4,600 meters, I think.
Wow.
And they made it up, no problem.
Did they? You had no issues at all?
Absolutely no problems whatsoever.
You could feel the loss in power,
but they made it.
But they made it all the way to the top. We didn't have to like get off or anything because there was so there was 4 motorbikes altogether, solo motorbikes. We made up 2 of them. One guy was on an older, cheaper Chinese like Pulse. He had trouble, and another guy was on a Honda Varadero. You know, it's a classic Varadero.
Yeah.
And he had trouble getting up. He had to unload his bike and like walk it up.
Now, is the Varadero, is that carburetted? Is that old style?
His version was the carburetted one, yeah.
So I've been struggling with the air then coming in.
That massively struggled with the air. And the guy, Simon, hi Simon, on the Pulse, he had trouble as well getting up as well. But his was, I'm fairly certain his was fuel injected.
Yeah.
But the Sinnis is just, felt the loss in power, but just kept going.
The loss in power. Gear. For those that don't know, the Sinnis Terrain has, is it 11 and a half?
11.5. 11.5
brake horsepower.
Dizzying heights of speed there.
Mega. I love it. I just did this thing with a couple other YouTubers, with Richie Vida and official Mr. Fish, where we went on an adventure, and I was on the Sinnis Apache, and those two were on the Honda Cubs. And the Honda Cubs, they've got 7 brake horsepower. It was genius. We did 1,000 miles, nothing compared to you guys, but 7 brake horsepower. Amazing.
Brilliant. It's like as much as a hairdryer. It's great.
yeah, I know, yeah. So, all right then, Paul, if you had the chance to do it again, would you take like such a small bike, or would you choose something different?
I would probably choose something different.
What and why?
Oh, it's an interesting. I'm a believer in smaller bikes, but not necessarily 125, just to get the power. So I would not take anything like a GS, an Africa Twin. I've been on them both. I think they're great, but in my mind, I'm just imagining all of the weight and everything. I like to try and keep it simple. Yeah. I like the sort of like the middle weights. So the 380 sings out to me quite a lot. But for the past nearly 10 years, I've had the Honda CB500X. So the original version back in 2013, someone hit me, wrote that off, and I got the 2019 version, which is what I've currently got at the moment. And it's the Sinnis 380 is very similar, and is actually what I've discovered is slightly more capable off-road, but it'd be around that sort of like between 300 and 500 cc sort of range, no more than 200 kilos. That's sort of my ideal sort of bike. Yeah. Where I can get my feet on the ground and I can pick it up. Yeah. But it can take 2 up, it can heavy haul, it can do motorway speeds. Something like an all-rounder, you know, your classic dual sport type bike. Yeah. Definitely. That's part of the reason I'm really keen to try this new 380 Terrain. It's because I love the 125, but it just lacks that little bit of grunt, doesn't it? It does limit you somewhat, especially when you're 20 stone to begin with. It's just like, this could do with just I don't want oodles more power. Well, it'd be great to have loads, but you don't need it. And I'm really keen to try this 380. Quite excited about it. I'm sad they never brought the 250 one out. I didn't know they were planning that. No, because it's still made in Zhongcheng. It's like, you know, franchises out from that. Yeah. But there is a 250 version of the Terrain. Oh, right. It's about 20 kilos heavier than the 125. So it fits perfectly in between. It's got more power, twin cylinder, fuel injected, water cooled. And 19-inch front wheel, so even better. And it just looks like almost like that sort of ideal sort of level.
Yeah. I genuinely can see a big revival in these lower CC bikes, you know, in your, maybe not necessarily the 125s, but certainly like your 250s, 300s, 400s. I can see a big revival in that because there's a lot of people out there keen to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, people don't want heavy bikes, especially, dare I say it as well. It's like there's a lot of, what's great is there's a lot of females coming into biking now.
Yep.
And it's great to see them, but they don't want big GSs. They want something they can actually know they can pick up, knows a bit more user friendly. And yeah, the market is already getting bigger as well, because you've got the BMW 310 GS, which is a nice little version. You've got the 250 V-Strom, 300 Versys. If you look at some of the other ones, you've got the Sinnis 380 and you've got the Himalayan as well, which is a really, really great little thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's 411cc, very random, but yeah. So yeah, and it's like, and they're all sort of based on being quite user friendly, which is really nice.
Nathan Millward, he's got his little speed shop down in Devon, hasn't
he? His speed shop.
Yeah, so he's got the Himalayan, he's got the KTM 390,
KTM, the
BMW, and has he got the Terrain?
CRF 250.
CRF 250, but I think he was saying he's interested in the new Terrain as well. So basically, folks, if you don't know, he's actually, I had him on the podcast last week, so that podcast is already out. Video comes out on Monday. Nathan is a chap who rode a 105cc Australian postie bike from Sydney all the way back to the UK, and then decided he would take it across the USA up to Alaska. Crazy. Well, he now has not only a fleet of these little postie bikes and does tours all around the UK, he's taken them back to Australia, across the States, he's done all sorts, but he now has this little fleet of sort of middleweight CC bikes, saying middleweight, lower to middleweight CC bikes, 3 to 400 CCs, and he does little tours all around Devon and Cornwall, so it's worth checking that out. Dorothy's Speed Shop. Sorry to hijack your podcast.
No, that's fine. Like Nathan. We love Nathan. He's another one of these genuine, really nice guys.
He is.
And it was brought us onto the London Motorcycle Show. So got
definitely.
Nothing but good things to say.
Yeah,
still chat to him every now and again.
Top guy, top bloke.
I've been meaning to like get hold of him and like take the Sinnis down there and like maybe we can sit and do a video and just compare them all.
It's worth doing.
I've been really. Yeah, I sat down the other day. This is what I did when I was bored the other day. I sat and made a spreadsheet of all of the lower range ones, and there's like 9 of them. And then literally I point scored them based on price, power, seat height, everything.
He's a spreadsheet guy. Spreadsheet guy.
I know, it's terrible.
And also Holly's face.
Well. I realised, like, if I get a 380, a brand new 380, and I want to insure it fully comp in London, 500 quid.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wow. That's good for me, but how much, like, in a comparison to, say, your Honda CB500, what's that?
That's a bit more. That's about 620.
Okay.
Yeah, I did a whole bunch as well for, like, new riders. So if you was a 19-year-old looking to get your A2, you've just passed your A2 licence.
Yeah.
You've been riding for a year on a CBT, so you got 1 year's no claims. You live in London and you leave it on a driveway. It makes a huge difference. Say, if you got a BMW, it would cost £2,300 to insure.
Oh my God!
Party only.
Yeah.
For a Sinnis 380, it was 1,600 quid.
Jesus, that's still an insane amount of money, isn't it?
Yeah, and like the KTM was the same, the Honda CB500 was the same, it's like the Versys was the same, and it was like, wow, it's like a third of the cost of the bike.
Yeah.
And I was like,
and they wonder why they're struggling to get people into biking.
Yeah.
It's crazy money.
I'm glad I'm not 19 anymore, that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. Well, I was... Sorry, go on.
Sorry, I pay peanuts for my insurance now. It's great.
I don't, unfortunately, but then I've had a fair few accidents of late and I do massive miles, so I sort of pay through the nose, but oh well, 'tis life. I'm lucky in a way. I was late to the biking game. I was 32, 33, I think, when I passed, so yeah, I sort of missed that whole I'm 20 years of age, give me a big bike kind of thing.
Yeah, as they take you to the cleaners with insurance, they go, yeah, that'd be $5,000, please.
Massively. That's the annoying thing is, like, for insuring for the car, I haven't insured myself for my own car since Well, since I passed my bike test, so that was 2008. I think 2007 was the last time I insured myself for my own car. So if I try and get insurance, if I go and buy a new car now, I'll be through the roof. Despite the fact I've been driving since I was 18, which is now a long time ago, and I've never had an accident in a car. So, oh well, never mind.
Yeah, just go with 2 wheels, it's easier.
Yeah, exactly. Right, next one. Mike Phillipson. How you doing, Mike? Question for Holly, as you're new to riding. Think back to when you first dropped your bike, assuming you have. How did it make you feel, and did you just jump straight back on?
I don't actually remember the first time I dropped my bike. Because the first bike I ever had, I never dropped, which was a little Yamaha YBR.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, when was the first time I dropped the train? Was it in Georgia?
It would have been in Georgia when you literally went, oh, look, we're going off-road.
Basically, yeah. So, in Georgia, and instead of taking the main tarmac road all the way across the country, we took a gravel road all the way across the country. And I'd never been off-road on that bike before, and I'd only done 1 day off-road training before.
Brilliant. What a way to start.
I know. It's like fist-size gravel, like loads of rocks like the size of your fist, which is awful to ride on even when you know how to do it. And I fell over practically immediately. But yeah, I just got carried on.
Good on you. What's Georgia like?
Left.
What's Georgia like?
Pretty.
Is
very,
it?
very pretty. Yeah. And the people are lovely and they have nice food. There was definitely something there that I really liked. It was like a weird feta pizza thing, I think. And it was gorgeous. I could eat that all day, every day.
See, that was someplace on my original route. I was supposed to go through Georgia, but when it all went wrong in Africa and I ended up redoing my route, I missed out all that part. And it's somewhere that I've definitely thought, that and Mongolia are sort of 2 big places where I'm like, well, I'd love to go and see that and see what it's like. Because I've heard great things about it.
Yeah, I mean, if you like greenness and mountains, Georgia is a place to go.
Is it? Is that what it's like?
Yeah, It was lovely. I mean, I don't know what it's all like, but the bit we went through was mostly green and mostly mountains.
Beautiful.
Because we avoided that main highway, that's why. Accidentally.
So how long was this gravel track that you end up going down then?
100?
170 odd miles, wasn't it?
Something like that.
Yeah.
It was literally most of the country.
Welcome to adventure travel.
Yeah.
And then after that, there's a desert. Enjoy that. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it wasn't far off, actually. It was well, I don't even know where things are in Azerbaijan. And that was it.
No, Azerbaijan had roads.
Yeah, Azerbaijan was fine.
Awesome. Cool. Good question, Mike. Next one, Paul Giles. Hello, everyone. First timer here. Hello, Paul. Hope you're enjoying it.
Hey, Paul.
Question for you all. Tea or coffee?
Tea.
Coffee. All right. Tea.
Which
milk?
is ironic. Yes, milk. Milk and sugar. Milk and tea.
Milk first or after?
After.
Yeah. You do
Freaks.
tea, sugar, and water.
Double
milk.
freaks.
Come on, Bru.
Honestly, try it. Try it. Next time you make a cup of tea, just put the tea in first. Bit of milk, then your tea bag, then pour the water. Try it and see.
Oh, he's going to start another internet debate.
Oh, mate, it's awesome.
Did you see that video over lockdown of the American woman making the cup of tea?
No.
She did everything backwards, literally. So it was milk, sugar, tea bag, then hot water.
Yes.
And when that's how you make a British cup of tea.
It is.
And the internet went mental.
It is. That'll be the best cup of tea you've ever had in your life.
It's like dishwater.
You do have to let the tea bag stew for a bit longer if you put the milk in first, definitely. But it's worth it. Honestly, forget Trump, Biden, tea, milk first. That is the biggest debate. On the internet will explode when you mention that.
Again.
Yeah, I might just do that on Instagram. I might take a picture.
Just do that one, yeah. Go on, put it on your story and watch everyone go mental.
I know, it's awesome. The engagement goes through the roof. Okay, next question. Early mornings or late nights?
Early mornings.
I
mean, I'm tired all the time anyway, and I hate getting up early, but I definitely function better if I get up early. I just get cranky when it's late at night.
Is it viable to say neither? I like to get up later and I like to go to bed early. It's all good. Sleeping is a hobby of mine.
Like it. Yeah, good. Sleeping's a hobby. For me, I think I feel better. Well, I feel terrible in the mornings, full stop. I don't know why, but I feel really bad in the mornings. But I feel like I've been more productive when I get up early, but I definitely am more productive later into the night. So I'll often edit till 1, 2 in the morning, and I just feel like I get more done that way. Gets to like 8 o'clock and I'm like, okay, now I can start doing some work, and you're like, shit, it's bedtime. But I can definitely sleep as well, definitely. Next one, dirt road or asphalt road?
Dirt road.
Freaks.
Definitely.
Freaks.
Way more fun.
I would love to be able to ride off road properly, definitely.
I can't do it properly.
What, so you just don't mind, like falling, and I
don't fall over that much. I actually think he falls over more than me now.
True. Yeah, I go quicker, that's why.
Well, I feel so out my comfort zone off road because I just don't know what I'm doing. And I think I've built it up too much in my head, and it's a thing now. People expect me to hate off-roading, so I've always got that in my head. But I do actually enjoy doing it sometimes.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of terrified of everything. So when I'm going faster, I'm probably more scared, and you go faster easier on just tarmac roads.
Mm-hmm.
Also, when you're going fast, you don't get to see the prettiness as much.
That's massively true. Absolutely true. Yeah. Even if you're not, like when I do my Spanish tours and I'm on the big bikes and we're enjoying ourselves, you're making a bit of progress, and I very rarely stop to admire the scenery. But as you're riding along, you're like, oh, that's beautiful. Look at that. That's amazing. That's gorgeous. I've always thought, I appreciate the beauty round about me. But doing that trip recently on the 125s, you have no other option but to take more in because you sat like pinned at 40, 45 mile an hour. Whereas on the bigger bikes, you'd be doing more than that, So everyone, me, Rich, and John, Mr. Fish, we all said, God, you appreciate what's round about you so much more at these speeds because it's it's there longer, I suppose, isn't it? Yeah, definitely.
Wonderful.
Mm.
And you have more fun because if you got it pinned, you're like, yes, I'm a speed demon.
Yeah. You look down, you're like 35 miles an hour. Like,
and never look down. Yeah. Just head down like that going, come on.
I like to do on my bike when I'm pretending to go fast is I put the passenger pegs down and put my feet on them and then lean on the tank. Makes me feel like a superhero.
I might try that. I don't think I could get my legs up to the pillion pegs. You said earlier there, Holly, you're scared of everything. How does that compute then when you've done what you've done?
I don't know. I mean, everyday life is scary, so big things aren't really as scary in a way. I don't know how to explain it. Maybe because I'm scared of everything in everyday life, I'm used to being scared of things.
Yeah.
So when I'm scared of doing something else, I just keep doing it. I mean, I'm still scared of heights, and I work in a climbing wall.
You're scared of heights?
Yes. Yeah. So's he.
And you're... Wow. Wow.
I mean, I was terrified when I set off hitchhiking, but once I started, it got a bit better.
You two like a challenge, don't you? You like to push yourselves.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What's the point otherwise, right?
Brilliant. I love that. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm like that, but nowhere near to the extreme levels you two are. I sort of... Most things don't bother me, but occasionally there'll be something that will come on my radar and I'll look and think, that's not what I'd normally do, but I fancy that. I fancy, I want a bit of that. Let's go for it, and to push yourself outside your comfort zone. But I can't imagine what that's like all the time. Like,
exhausting.
Yeah,
it's genuinely exhausting. because your brain just never stops.
Wow.
I guess for me at least, if it's something that's slow and terrifying, so like hitchhiking is a good example. It's terrifying, but you can do it step by step.
Yeah.
That I can deal with. If it's something like, I don't know, I've never done bungee jumping, but it's a good example. You've got a split second to decide. That's the ones I really struggle with. Like, I physically can't make my body do it sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the things where you can choose to do it a little bit at a time, I can do. And then sometimes where it's like a split second decision, it's really, really hard or impossible.
I find that fascinating that you two sort of are in the lifestyle that you're in, and you've made the choices that you have to do these amazing things, and yet you're battling those sort of like insecurities and mental challenges daily. It's just that's amazing. Wow. Fair play to you.
Yeah.
God, no, yeah. It almost amplifies your achievement so far. That's nuts. Crazy. Good
I
on
don't
you.
know. When sending a text is one of the most terrifying things you can think of doing, because you don't know how someone's going to respond, and then you spend all day thinking about it. Doing something slightly more scary, like traveling to Mongolia, doesn't seem that much worse.
Riding to, what is it called? The Gates of Hell.
Yeah.
And you
That was a
did
good one.
you did the Death Road as well, didn't you?
And Death Road in Turkey.
Yeah.
In Turkey. Go on.
Yeah.
Tell us all
Lots
about
of
that. Tell us all about that.
Actually, that was my first off-roading.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
The
that was
Death
pretty good.
Road.
Yeah.
Georgia was my first big gravel road. Death Road is super, super pretty. I think it's the D915 is the official name of the road. And it goes from, so there's two main roads that go across Turkey at the top. One's along the coast, one's a bit lower. And this just cuts between them. And it starts off with tarmac and just winds up the mountains. And it's a nice, pretty road. And then the tarmac stops. Mm-hmm. And it's really, really narrow. Like, people did it in cars, and that would have been way more terrifying, in my opinion.
Yeah. Less room.
And then, there's a queue here. This is one of our little travelling friends.
Right.
So we took Harry, which is this one, on the trip to Mongolia.
And
he was like my little mascot.
What's the significance of them? Is that like a little Highland cow? Is that what that is?
Little Highland coo.
and
We got them from Glencoe as well.
what's the story? Come on, tell us the story. There must be one.
Well, we were going to do the 3 Peaks on Christmas, and we did one of them. I can't remember which one.
Scafell Pike.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were on our way to do Ben in Scotland, and I got really, really sick. And I was sick for like a month, I think.
Wow.
And we stopped somewhere just for a bit of lunch, and I felt really sad and saw these cute little Highland coos, so he got me one to make me feel better.
And they've been with you ever since.
Yeah, she's nice.
Awesome.
And yeah, they went around the world with us.
Brilliant. So, for people that don't know, let's go back to the Death Road. Well, there's a couple of roads are called the Death Road, isn't there? There's ones down in South America, but your one is the one in Turkey, and it's basically, explain why is it called the Death Road?
Because the way we did it, the way down, but I guess for some people the way up, it's just wider than a normal car. There's rivers going across it. It's all dirt and gravel and hairpin bends all the way around, ridiculously steep gradients. And if you go over the edge, you just keep falling.
Yeah. There's no barriers or anything, is there?
No.
And these roads have got, like, you're not talking like M25 levels of traffic, but they are used by people, by the locals, trucks, cars, buses, I believe.
Crazy. It's absolutely mental. We didn't see any buses, but I would not have been surprised.
Wow.
Mental. Like, so I hate U-turns.
Yeah.
I was basically having to do U-turns all the way down a gravel track down the side of the mountain, where if I got it wrong, I would die. And I think I stalled on every single corner trying not to go off the edge.
And you're worried about sending a text message. It's just... Wow. I've got to do this. I've got to do it. I've got to do it.
Stop the podcast. Just go now.
I'll lend you a 380, Bruce.
Thanks very much. Imagine that when I get the 380 to do a little road trip. Where are you off to? Oh yeah, just pop
Turkey.
just pop down to Devon. It comes back with like 8,000 miles on it. There you go.
I took a detour.
Yeah, slight detour. Right, last one of Paul's questions. Hard luggage or soft?
I've only ever used hard luggage, but I recently won a dry
Continental dry
roll bag thingy,
Mm-hmm.
and I love it. It's really good. Because it's like, it just straps onto my bike, and I don't need to take it off to get things out of it.
Yeah, they're so
How
easy, aren't
wonderful
they?
is that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I don't know, but I like that.
I think I like the look of hard luggage. I do on certain bikes, you know. I think the whole metal panniers and everything, they can look great, but I think practically just the soft luggage is so easy. You just sling it on the bike, bungee it on if you want, and just cram whatever you want in it, and off you go. Waterproof.
I love the hard luggage.
Do you?
Yeah, I started off the other way. So I started off on soft luggage, and it's such a faff to empty everything. And also, it's more likely to rip. You can't leave it as well. So, like, if you just stop somewhere, you can leave your hard luggage locked up. Your soft luggage doesn't really lock very well.
Yeah.
And also, if your bike goes over, it also means you don't have to lift it as far up.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, definitely. The hard luggage aids that for sure. I've just got, I'm going to fly the flag here, not sponsored, but I was given the Lone Rider soft bags for the tractor, for the GS. Well, they do them for all bikes, but they're actually lockable. They're cut proof, so you can't slash it with a knife. And then they've got this metal lockable plate on the top of the bags for this ingenious little locking system, and you just take a padlock and lock them, and then that's it, done.
Nice.
It's crazy.
Cool.
But they do
Come a long way.
Yeah, but they are big, and once they're bolted to the bike, you've basically got to unbolt them to take them off. But then, you know, they come with like removable waterproof red lining bags, which are great. Yeah, but like,
how much do they weigh? Curious.
Gee whiz. What, the bags themselves?
Yeah.
I should know this. Do you know, I don't know. They're not as heavy as the metal ones, because they're a considerable weight, the metal panniers. I would imagine they're probably 5-6 kilograms, maybe, if that.
Really?
Yeah. They're not
That's
much.
actually heavier than my panniers.
Is it? Well, maybe they're not even that
I've got
much. I don't
aluminum
know.
ones. Yeah.
You've got the aluminium ones.
I've got aluminum panniers, on my CB500. I've had the same pair for about 7 or 8 years.
Right.
They've gone through like 3 bikes now. And then I just take them off, put them on the next one,
Yeah.
And so they've done quite well.
I was never one for the old panniers and everything, but I did a tour. I did a tour with my mate Lyndon down in Toro. We went to Morocco, and he had the GSs all kitted up, you know, typical with the panniers and the top boxes and everything. So that's the first time, and I rode with him, and it was funny because nobody had ever ridden with panniers before, and just in Spain, pulling out the garage and going through the town, everyone was taking wing mirrors off cars. Everybody was just like clunk, 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 and I was like tail end Charlie. I was like, oh my god, we've got to take this all the way to the Sahara. This is going to be fun. But you get used to it eventually, don't you?
You do. But what's great is if you've got panniers in London and you start filtering, you see the cars
move out the way. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, nope, not my mirror.
Yeah. Right. Nice questions there, Paul. Let's get on to next one. Martin Bronze. Hello, you three. When this COVID stuff is over, I'll ride my little 250 to Australia. The only thing I fear is coriander in my food. How much am I going to eat along the way, or will I starve to death?
Just go to a supermarket and buy your own food if you're really worried. But if you're going across Turkey, I think there's a lot of coriander,
I remember. I guess when you like something, you don't notice it in food as much.
Yeah.
But if you hate it, you're going to notice it everywhere.
I suppose so, yeah. Funnily enough, I'll eat everything, so...
as long as you don't have to chase after it, it's all good.
Sorry, I interrupted you there, Holly. What were you going to say?
I think that was it.
Oh,
I have no idea how much coriander there is in the world.
Yeah,
just like porridge and noodles, you'll be good.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
not porridge. Anything but porridge.
Yeah, just eat local and just treat it as a surprise. Eat whatever comes your way, and don't worry about what's in it.
You can always pick coriander off, right?
I haven't got a clue. I don't know. I can't even think what coriander tastes like. Pass.
Yeah, it's quite often in soup with carrots.
Is it?
Yeah.
Right. Avoid the soup. Avoid the soup then, Martin.
You've heard it here first, folks.
You'll be all right, mate. You'll be all right. Don't worry about it. Next one, Steve Farrell. Question for all. Thinking back to your trips, who's the most memorable person or persons you met along the way, and why do they stand out? Good question, Steve. Right, most memorable people you've met, and why?
On this trip or just any trip?
Any at all.
So from Norway, there's a few. There's a truck driver who I think I was with for 2 whole days, just driving north, and it's with him that I crossed the Arctic Circle.
Mm-hmm.
And he was planning to quit being a trucker and open his own spiritual retreat, because he always used to listen to all of these audiobooks on the soul and stuff and meditation, and he wanted to open his own meditation center.
Wow.
So yeah, definitely remember him. And I got further up north in Norway, and I was camped in the really deep snow in the forest. And this family, I guess, or some friends, they were there in their log cabin, and they came out, they were like, "Crazy person, why are you in your tent in the snow? Come on, eat with us." So they took me around to their little log cabin, and they fed me hot food and hot alcohol. And then the next day they made me a cooked breakfast before I set off, and I still have their numbers, so if I ever go back, they're more than happy for me to contact them.
Fantastic. Isn't that great? That sort of stuff really sort of affirms your faith in people, doesn't it, when you meet people like that?
Yeah.
Awesome. What about you, Paul? Sorry, go on.
Bike trip, the guy called Metin we met in
Yeah,
Turkey.
that's where I was going to go with that one.
But Paul can tell you about him.
Yeah, so I can't remember if we'd left Cappadocia or we was heading towards Cappadocia. It was one of them. We was in the Turkish mountains, which are a complete surprise. We honestly expected to go to Istanbul for a couple of days and then just bomb through Turkey.
Yeah.
And be like, yeah, cool, just to get to, the Caspian Sea, and then it will get really interesting.
Yeah.
Turkey is amazing.
Is it?
Turkey, the mountains in Turkey are stunning, and the roads are just as good as well.
And the real roads. The real roads are good too.
I would highly recommend, it's sort of mid-Turkey, the mountains there are just amazing, west to east.
Right,
so we was heading along to or from somewhere, I don't remember where, and we decided to just pull over and have a bit of lunch on the side of the road. Pulled over and started everything up, and there was a guy there in his car, just sitting there having a cigarette, not doing very much, just having a little bit of a chill time. And he just starts talking to us in Turkish. We have no idea what he's saying. So we start talking to him in English. He has no idea what we're saying. And we just sat there, and then we made tea, and we're all sitting there drinking tea, showing him pictures of what we've been doing. He's showing us pictures of our family, telling us about where he lives and everything. We were there for a good couple of hours, just talking to him, despite the fact we had no idea what each other was saying. Yeah. And we've actually stayed in contact with him.
Have you?
Loosely through the internet, through the joys of Instagram. we still stay in contact. And he gave us tea that he'd been picking earlier on that day as well in a bag. And he was just an absolute lovely chap. And it's just randomly met him.
Awesome.
And still don't understand a word he says. So.
But you had a conversation. That's the crazy thing, isn't it? You don't speak each other's language, yet you can have conversations with people. It's nuts, isn't it?
Hand signals are wonderful, and obviously, and now phones make everything easier.
Yeah.
Pictures, take 1,000 words.
And Google Translate, you can get by with that. Yeah, definitely. It's funny when you were saying that about meeting these random people. I suddenly, because initially when I read the question, I was thinking about people that I'd met along the way and ended up, staying with for a while. There's a guy in Australia, Pete, that basically came to my rescue when I crashed like a dickhead. And no, it wasn't Australia. He was Australian, but he came to my rescue in Japan it was. Sorry, I was in Japan and I crashed. And he basically came to my rescue, put the bike in his truck, and I lived with him for like 3.5 weeks, and he helped me rebuild the bike. It's not him and his family just sort of adopted me for that length of time. But when you mentioned about random people that don't speak English, I met this guy halfway across Russia in a petrol station. So I'm on my bike filling up with fuel, and he came over and had a look at my number plate and started speaking Russian. I was like, Scotia, English, Scotia. Like, I had the map on the back of my helmet, so pointed to the UK and Scotland. And he was like, Scotland, okay, the new, all this sort of stuff. And then he was saying, like, sleep like this, sleep where? That sort of stuff. So I was pointing at my tent and then pointing at the field, and he was like, and he shook his head and he went, no. He was like, you, me, like this. So I thought he wanted me to follow him. So once we'd sorted the fuel out, I followed him in his car and ended up literally in this little village in the forest in Russia. And it was like it's like something out of film. It's like a wooden hut, a wooden house with the smoke coming out the chimney. We'd gone in, and you talk about it now and you think you're crazy. Why would you go into the woods with some bloke you never met? Well, why would you go into the woods with some bloke you never met before? But we've gone in, and there's his missus literally stood there cooking, chopping stuff up next to the fire, and she sort of turned around and looked at me and looked at him, and they spoke in Russian, and she just sort of shrugged her shoulders and set the table and got a bowl of borscht out for me, and we sit and chatted, and I don't know what we talked about because I don't speak Russian and he doesn't speak English, but we did the whole, I showed them my map on the back of my helmet, and he was sort of pointing at pictures of motorbikes that he had, I'm assuming his old motorbikes that he used to have or his family's had. And I ended up spending the night there. Like, literally, his wife made a little sort of bed for me next to the fire, and in the morning, like, I had some food and waved, and off I went. And I've often thought to myself, I wonder if he actually meant for me to follow him. Or when he got home and his missus obviously he's turned around and gone, what's the story here then? He's gone, I don't know, he just followed me back from the petrol station. I don't know. But isn't it crazy that you get people like that out there?
Yeah, absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
Always makes me want to be a better person.
100%. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, awesome. Good to know it still happens. That's great. All right, last one of the Patreon questions. J. Alexander. Hi there. Is there something you took on your trip that you couldn't have lived without, not including your phones or sat-nav? And conversely, is there anything you wish you'd taken with you?
Well, excluding sensible things like sleeping bag, my Kindle. Just having access to thousands of books is a way to escape from the stresses of everything. Mm-hmm. You don't need internet for it, and the battery on Kindles lasts for ages. Yeah. You can charge them off USB, which the bikes have, so definitely my Kindle.
So, like on a typical day when you were travelling then, when you're camping out wild, what sort of time did you sort of give up riding and set yourself up for a camp for the evening?
Well, later than we should have done, every time.
We were always like, we should make camp before it gets dark.
Yeah.
We were still looking for a place to camp when it was dark.
Were you?
Which is really, yeah.
Just trying to make up miles.
Yeah.
We hadn't realised how long it would take.
Comes back to the planning side of things then.
Yeah.
So you just going back then, you said you took 8 weeks off of work. Did you expect to like have the trip done in 6 or 7 weeks and then have a week to sort yourselves out before you went back to work?
No, we thought it was going to take 8 weeks.
All right.
But it took 10.
Now, what happened at the end then? Did you obviously got the bikes back? You didn't ride them back, did you?
No, at the finish line, we realised we didn't have enough time to ride them out of Russia. Mm-hmm. We wanted to put them on the Trans-Siberian Express, which we had emailed them about beforehand, and they said, yes, it's fine. It's this much money. You go here, you do this. And then we went there, and they were like, nope. And we were like, crap.
Oh, wow.
So our visa was running out. We just didn't have enough time to ride out of the country. So we were either going to have to like ride to Kazakhstan and sort out visas and go back the long way, or figure out another way to get home. So what we did is the Mongol Rally is cars as well. So we stripped out one of the other team's Daihatsu Hijet van, which is absolutely tiny, dismantled the bikes, shoved them in the back, and drove that back practically constantly.
Wow.
So maybe 20 hours a day driving, just alternating.
Yeah. Mega.
That's how we got them back.
Brilliant. That's crazy. So what was the story with the Trans-Iberian then? Because you can chuck your bikes on there, can't you? Well, I know you can.
You know,
Yeah, I wonder why they wouldn't let you.
No idea. We tried speaking to several people, and I was like, nope.
tried bribing them. Nope.
That normally works.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay then, so what about, is there anything you wish... Oh, no, we've covered that. Is there something that you took on your trip that you couldn't have lived without? Now, did you have the Kindle with you, or was that what you
Yes,
wished?
that's the one that I couldn't live without.
Okay, so is there anything you wish you'd taken with you?
Peanut butter.
I wasn't expecting that. Right, okay.
Yeah,
Peanut butter.
there we go. I like peanut butter.
Maybe a spoon to go with it.
Yeah.
Use your finger. Use your finger.
Yeah.
What about you, Paul?
Same with the Kindle as well. Got to agree there. That's literally most of our evenings were a case of set everything up, have dinner, sort the bikes out, wash everything up, and then just sit and read for a bit and just wind down from the day.
Yeah.
It's just great to just try and switch off and be in another world. And it's just a great way to relax as well and separate your thoughts for the day as well.
Yeah.
Even if you've read the same book 1,000 times. As in, what would I take? I didn't miss anything. Strange as it sounds, I didn't miss anything.
Did you not?
No.
I'm trying to remember.
I'm genuinely trying to think of what else would I have taken. I would have taken my climbing stuff with me. There you go.
But we didn't have time to climb.
No, if we had time, but yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I suppose so, yeah.
Generally, yeah.
God. I genuinely can't think from my trip what would I have taken that I didn't take. I wish I'd had a drone, and I wish I'd had better experience with the cameras and sound, like put more value on my production. I think, because I look back now and just think, oh, you could have done such a better job. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
well, it is what it is.
As we like to say, Bruce, you just got to go around again.
Yeah. I wouldn't say. I definitely wouldn't say no, and I'm not going to say it's not going to happen. But yeah, I need to earn some brownie points, I think, first before anything like that happens.
Well, maybe if the thing you wish you'd taken is your wife, then you'll be allowed to go.
Well, there is that, but then she's not in the position I'm in where she can just jack the job for however long. Not yet, anyway. But if that changes, yeah, I think she'd be quite keen. She's backpacked. She's done the whole backpacking round the world type thing. Did that when she was younger.
Well, question to you then, Bruce, is would it be 2 up or 2 bikes?
2 bikes.
2 bikes.
Definitely. Yep. Yeah.
Would you go on the Gixxer again?
I used to say no, because I've done that. You know, I've proved to myself that I can do it, and in a way I've proven to others that I can do it.
Yeah.
And I always used to say, well, it's done now, but I kind of, now I'm sort of a fat old man on a GS. Part of me thinks, you can do that. Just go and do it again, you know? I'm tempted to try it on the BMW, the S1000RR. I'm tempted to try
the new
it.
M version, that'd be great.
Well, if BMW would like to give me an M version for a little trip, then...
We'll stress test it.
yeah, definitely. You know, I do still love me sports bikes, definitely, and yeah, I don't think it's over yet. We'll see.
How do you not get a sore back?
No. Well, the thing is, it would kill me now. Initially, it would kill me, but I think it's like anything, isn't it? You get used to it, and the more you ride any bike, you get used to that bike, don't you?
Yeah.
That's what
You sort of mould around it.
Yeah, well, especially at the moment, I would sort of fold round about it at the moment. But yeah, I think if you want something, you'll make it happen, won't you? And you put up with discomfort. That's it. That's just it. Nice. Right. Okay. Well, that was the Patreon questions. We'll move on to where are we now? Right, we'll go on to the Instagram ones for just now, which is at TeapotOne Insta. Sorry, I haven't looked through all these questions, so let's just have a little look.
We can all be surprised together.
Yeah, there were a couple that I did have a quick look at, I must admit. Someone said, Holly, that Mark Rayleigh 2018, he said, I think Holly wants to go to Ibiza next year, though. What's the story with that?
Oh, I already answered him. I don't.
Yeah.
I think he was saying I looked miserable in one of the photos. I was just tired and cranky.
All right, nothing more there then.
No, I don't like hot places. I don't like partying, and I don't like British people on holiday. I'm not going to be.
Ibiza sounds perfect.
No.
Right, there's one. Original Zigzag. Quite a ride. Well done. My question is, how long did each of you ride before the Sinnis gave you a numb bum?
How long before our asses went numb?
Oh, I thought you said a number, and I was just like,
How long till your ass went numb?
I know, I find them quite comfy.
Did you?
But maybe they're just built for my size.
For me, it was about 2.5 hours.
Okay. Yeah.
I will say after when we hit Turkey, we'd been on a bike so long every day, all day, that I got actual saddle sores, which is something that I thought that only happened in fantasy books when people were escaping on horses. But that went away after like a week or two, and then it was fine.
And so, okay, so after a couple of hours, your arse is getting sore. How long before you fill up with fuel? What sort of range did you guys get on the terrains?
We did a hypermile in England, but we did a hypermile challenge, and I got 373 miles on my little Sinnis.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Were you pushing it? How did you manage that? Wow.
We were just driving.
Trying to drive as economically as possible.
But yeah.
That's
no
amazing.
motorway. It was all A roads.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm quite small.
Yeah, you're probably about the weight of my left leg, I think. Yeah. I was getting, what was I getting? 240, 250, something like that?
That's pretty good.
Yeah. It wasn't when I picked up the Sinnis, there was a lady there, a young girl there, who I think she was just on her CBT as well, and she was saying she'd been riding her terrain for I think a year or 2 years, and she said to me she was getting 400 miles, and that was like all around Brighton. She was just sort of riding it around the town. She was getting 400 miles to a tank, and then obviously I thought happy days, and I got I think 240 or something like that. I thought, bit of a difference. Yeah. Right, next ones. What have we got here? Jack Kemp. Ask them if they've gotten over the tour of Wales yet. What's that? What's the story there?
So what we've done, and actually I'm wearing the t-shirt for it as well. Yay!
Rally.
We've recently this Rally Moto. So we've recently this year, since going on the trip, really enjoyed off-roading.
Mm-hmm.
So during lockdown, we joined up for what was called a Stir Crazy desktop rally, where they taught you how to use a road book rally.
Oh.
A road book rally? Yeah, the actual thing, but using a map. And then once lockdown had finished, that's what they do. They put on road book rallies around the UK. So we signed up to one in Salisbury to begin with. Check out our YouTube, guys. It's on there. And we loved it. And so we did one about 6 weeks ago, the Tour of Wales.
I have no idea.
Yeah, and it was 500 kilometres, and it took us 15 hours without a break.
Wow.
Just stopping for fuel. And then we did one last week, which was coast to coast, which was...
That was a lot easier.
Yeah, which was Morecambe to Scarborough, 320 kilometres, and that took us 11 hours.
And is this all off-road?
No, it's on-road and off-road.
Mm-hmm.
So, but on like byways, so green lanes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, but you've got to read the map right, otherwise you end up getting lost. And they GPS tracked you and everything.
Did they?
It's really, it's really well organized. I messaged you about it. You've got to come and try one.
Yeah, I think you messaged me on Insta, I think, didn't you, about it?
Yeah.
And I just remember reading, you mentioned road book, and I thought off-road. I think I was actually in Wales at the time. I was away on a bit of a boys' trip, like a road bike trip, I think, when you...
Everyone was in Wales at the same time, because the Sinnis guys were in Wales literally round the corner as well, apparently.
Yeah, they were, yeah.
Yeah.
I think everybody either went to the North Coast 500 up in Scotland, or they went to Wales, and then obviously then everywhere got shut down. So that was that.
And now we can't get in anywhere now.
Well, the Canaries.
Yeah, no, it was brilliant.
The Canaries has just opened up. Have you seen that?
Yeah, because you've got your trips going out there soon, haven't you?
It's literally sold out in about an hour. So taking 5 punters over to hopefully over to the Canaries in December. Yeah. Oh man,
that'll be nice.
Oh yeah, but there's so many people that, with all the localized lockdowns and stuff, people can't do it. But yeah, for the lucky few, fingers crossed.
Made the most of it.
Yeah, so these road books, that's the sort of, for people that don't know, the road books are, if you watch the Dakar rally type stuff and you see that bit of paper that is on the dash and it's rotating round and it's got like GPS coordinates, compass headings, distances, all that sort of stuff. That's essentially what a road book is, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the heads and tails of it.
How the heck do you read one of them?
It's actually really easy, yeah.
It's so easy. It's basically, it tells you how far to go, and then it's got a picture of the turning, and you just follow it.
And it gives you the bearing as well, so...
Yeah. It's not difficult.
Okay. So you obviously you must have like a compass on the bike. Do you?
So
I'm assuming.
There's a little app you can get for your phone which tells you how far you've covered in kilometers, because it's all done in kilometers.
Uh-huh.
And it also gives you the bearing as well. So you can actually just match them up, and then you're literally matching your phone little GPS software to the book as you go, and you go, yep, turn left there, yep, cool, and just keep, and you just basically just matching it up.
That does sound quite cool. I've got to admit, that does sound quite cool.
It's great fun. It really is. We've got another one next weekend down in Salisbury again.
Wow.
So this time I'm going to take the 380 rather than the 125, so it should be good fun.
I take it, you must know Austin Vince, do you? Do you know?
I know of Austin. I've never met him.
He now does similar sort of trips, tours, challenges down in the Pyrenees, where it's all
the mini Mondos.
That's it. All off-road, and he basically just gives people coordinates, and they've got challenges or something to do along the way, I think, haven't they? Yeah,
he teaches people how to cook properly outdoor style as well, doesn't he? Over fire. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Can we do that? Where do I find that?
Sorry, Paul. Sorry.
No, you're right,
yeah, he does it, and it's just all these mad people careering across the dirt tracks around the Pyrenees, trying to find his little clues and do the little challenges.
Like a little treasure hunt. Yeah.
As
long as he makes me, as long as he makes me one of his really awesome overalls, I don't mind. I'll do it.
Brilliant.
I love his.
He sells them, doesn't he? He makes them and sells them.
Yeah, they're brilliant. Yeah. I love them.
Mega. Again, people.
I want to do it.
You do, yeah, that's it now. That's it. It's happening. Sorry, Paul.
Oh, no.
Yeah, folks, if for whatever reason you've never heard of Austin Vince, he's another... Well, he's one of the original sort of fathers of overland travel, really.
Yeah.
Google Mondo Enduro or Terra... Is it Terra...
Circa.
Terra Circa.
Terra Circa. You can watch them on YouTube. Watch them.
Yeah, do that.
This was... Yeah.
Go on.
Amazing. Hilarious. It was... because it was pre-long way round, wasn't it?
Oh, well before
and
that.
And it did everything with the video cameras and that, but it didn't light the world on fire as such, but it was brilliant to watch.
Yeah.
And their sense of humour is fantastic.
Well, it was before the internet, wasn't it? It was.
That's
I think
the
it was
thing.
before. It was early 90s, mid 90s, sometime like that. They did certainly they did the first one.
The first Mondo one, yeah.
Yeah, and they set out when they were crossing Russia. There's a section in Russia which is called the Zilov Gap. Doesn't really exist anymore because they've built a road across it. But at the time, there was no road, so it was about 600 or 700 miles of swamp, and it was a military defence for the Russians. Well, the Mondo Enduro or the Terra Circa, whichever one was the
Terra
first one.
Circa.
Terra Circa.
No, Mondo Enduro was the first.
Well,
Yeah.
was it Circa that they did the
They
rush?
actually did it. The first one they had to give up on and went onto the Trans-Siberian.
There you go. That's it.
I
Yes.
may have seen it a few times.
Yeah. So they tried to do the swampland on the bikes to be the first people to cross it. Failed the first time. Went back a second time. Managed it. And it's all shot by Austin on old Sinnis style film. It's brilliant. It's basically lads on tour having a scream, and it's a quality film.
It is
Couple of
absolutely
films.
brilliant.
There's two lads actually who after that they crossed the Zeelof Gap. They rode around the world. They're coming on the podcast not next week after, I think it is. They did a thing for riding for Bernardos. They did it. It's just two young lads in their 20s just decided, bugger it, we're going to go. And again, they
Nice.
crossed the Zeelof Gap. It's crazy. Anyway, that's taking things away from your story. Right, so the road book side of stuff. You're doing that. You've done that, and now the Pyrenees, thanks to Holly, you're doing that. Brilliant. Next one, Vicky Worrell. Wow, I'm looking to retake my CBT in the new year. I've got too much into my own head last time and fluffed it. So my question is, more for Holly. Being a new rider, what have you found the hardest thing to get your head round? There's a bit more here, I need to expand it. Especially when planning this awesome adventure.
Well, in terms of tests and stuff, what really helped me with my CBT, which I failed the first time, everyone says you can't fail it, but if you're not allowed to ride a bike after it, I think you kind of failed. So I failed. So for me, what I did was I actually bought my first bike before I redid the CBT and just practiced a lot in the car park.
Mm-hmm.
They really do not expect much of you at all on a CBT. Make sure you go to a actual good, reliable school.
Yeah.
Because the first one I went to, there wasn't really enough space to learn to do anything. It was tiny. I was scared of crashing into the walls, and the bike I had was so crap that they had to bump start it every time it stopped.
Wow.
So that's why I failed the first time. So don't go for any special prices. Just find one that seems a reasonable price and go for it at an actual reliable school. You'll be fine.
Mm.
With the trip, one thing at a time, I guess. Planning sometimes scares me a bit because I just start thinking too much. But generally, once you set off, things get easier in your own head because you're doing it. And when you're in normal everyday life, you're like, okay, I've got to do work or uni or whatever it is, or housework. And then you're like, crap, now I have to plan something. And then you've got to think about this really abstract idea. It's like, how do you even plan of being somewhere that you don't really know anything about? It's really weird. But once you set off, you're just in the moment and you deal with problems one at a time as they come up.
Yeah.
And for me, at least, that's just easier than normal life.
Yeah.
Being on a road, something happens, it might be a big thing, but that's all you're dealing with. And then you can just carry on.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. I totally concur with that. It's in the planning stages, like you said, you've got all that in your head. You've got every aspect of this trip in front of you, haven't you? And it's just like, oh my God, there's so many things to think about. But once you're on the trip, it's just, okay, where am I going? Where's fuel? Where's food? Where am I going to sleep tonight? That's just it, isn't it? And you just repeat that every day, and eventually you've crossed a continent. It just happens, doesn't it? And just deal with whatever comes your way over the next few hours.
Yeah. I mean, if you commute to work 50 miles a day,
Yeah.
and then you come back, and then you think about how far you've gone in a month, that's basically all you're doing on a trip, except you're going in a straight line.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And, always know where your license is. Do not drop it inside the ventilation bits of your jacket because we'll lose it and panic and cry, and it's horrible.
Was that you again, Paul?
No, that was me.
Yeah, we didn't video that. No one wanted to see that.
Now, how do you deal with planning then, Paul? Or does Holly do the planning? Or what happens?
No, actually, I think I'm actually better at planning than Holly is,
Yeah.
to be honest. Because I can go two ways about it. I can go the same way Holly does, where it's a case of, cool, let's just go now.
Yeah.
Or I can actually plan routes and everything. So
Yeah.
I've done it in the past. It's a case of, right, there's something interesting here that I want to go and see. There's something interesting here I want to go and see. There's a really nice road here. So I'll literally plan out routes and do like an average of how long it will take and literally how much it should cost in fuel.
Do you do a spreadsheet?
Not quite.
He does. He does, doesn't he? He does.
No, the maps go into Word.
Brilliant.
But yeah, no, I've done things like that, especially with like Europe, because there's such like really cool things around, you know, the Alps and through like Switzerland and the likes of. There's so many good roads that you kind of want them to join up nicely into like one nice fluid route rather than just going from there to there to there to there.
Yeah, I get
So
that.
yeah, I've done that before, but I can work both ways, both sides of the fence if I need to.
Cool. Nice. That's a good position to be in life. I like that. Yeah. Cool. Right. Martin Rowe, how long did it take you to plan the Mongol trip?
I don't know.
It's about 6 months.
Well, we
wasn't it?
Was it?
started 6 months before we went. Then we sort of stopped for maybe 4 months.
Right. What's the
So
story?
I really don't know.
Is there any story? Just thought,
We just get distracted by things.
Yeah, like work and other things.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we started planning it when Holly signed up for it. And then it got to a point of where there was nothing really left to do at one point, and then we just stopped for a while,
Nailed
waiting
it.
for like visas and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then just got back on it again. It's like, oh, we haven't done this. Oh, we haven't done that. Got
Oh.
on with that. But yeah, I don't remember too much of the planning, to be honest.
No, most of it was spent in our favourite tea house drinking tea.
the wrong
With
way,
milk afterwards.
obviously. The wrong way, yeah.
Correctly.
Right. Kev Burns. We'll go another one on planning. Have you got any tips for someone planning their first big tour?
Depends what sort of person you are, to be honest.
And also where you're going as well. Because if you're going across Europe, there's not a lot to think about. While Brexit still hasn't happened. But in general, there isn't. But if you're going a little bit further afield, then you've got to start thinking about visas, whether you need a carnet or not, you know, things like injections and various other things like that, insurance. If you're just going across Europe, there's not a lot to think about, to be honest.
Yeah.
It also depends on, are you a camper or are you someone who prefers a bit more comfort? So there's a lot to it. You need to work out what it is, who you are, and the way you like to travel first and foremost.
Yeah.
Do you like just to ride from point to point, or do you like to ride and stay in somewhere for a while and see stuff? So yeah, work out what kind of traveler you are first. Work out your comforts, work out what you like, work out what you don't like, and then just go from there. As I said, when I like to plan, it's if you've got a certain amount of time or you've got a certain destination, just try and find things along the way that you go, that looks interesting, that looks interesting, that looks fun, that looks really beautiful, I want to go and look at that. And then you'll just see on the map a route opening up, and you're like, well, there's my route. And then from there you go, well, how many miles per day do I think I can do? This many. And then it's like, well, where will I stay? If you can camp, you're a bit more flexible, you can go wherever you want. But if you prefer hotels, then you'll start planning your hotels along the way.
But there is one thing I'd add to that. Don't stick to something religiously. Don't force yourself, because you'll be miserable. If you're like, oh, I must get here to see this at this time,
Yeah.
but you happen to find out about something that you might like to see, it's good to deviate from your plan.
Yeah. Let your trip develop as it goes, because that's when the adventure starts, isn't it? Is when
Absolutely.
you get lost, you break down, you end up out of your comfort zone. You're challenging yourself, and even if it's simple, well, not simple, even if it's things like approaching strangers and asking for help or asking for directions, simple things like that, you know, it can lead, as we've said, it can lead to so many different things.
Absolutely.
In a wooden hut in the middle of the forest, you know, it can lead all sorts of places. Planning, I definitely did too much planning on my trip, but the bit I loved was my initial sort of route planning, because I remember buying a big, massive wall map of the world.
Oh, yeah.
And I bought myself little pins with some thread, and I literally, because I was doing it on a sports bike, I was like, I'm going to go to every MotoGP circuit around the world.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to. So I plotted where each one was, and then I had some charities on board, and there was like one of them was Born Free, so there was like a fair few projects in Africa that I wanted. I want to go and see the gorillas and things like the orangutans over in not Indonesia. Oh God. Country, sort of the islands, Philippines. Is it Philippines?
Philippines.
Yeah, Philippines,
Yeah.
I think is where the orangutans are. Well, there was all these different places, and I plotted all the pins, and then literally starting in London, tying the thread in that pin, and then just, as you said, this map, this route is there, isn't it? As you start winding the cord round it, and eventually you end up with your route, and it's like, oh wow, there it is. It's an awesome way to plan a route, is just to look, well, I want to go here, I want to see that, I want to ride that road, I've got to be here for that border crossing or a shipping point, and just break it down into chunks, really.
Yeah. When you know what you want, it plans itself.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, absolutely. And it doesn't need to be like a big continent-conquering trip or world-beating trip. It doesn't need to be that. It can be anything, can it?
No.
Plan a trip to Scotland, to Wales. Just what do you want from that trip? What timescales you got, and what do you want from it?
Yeah. And also, are you the sort of person that can ride for 300 miles, or do you prefer to every 30 or 40 and do something?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Everyone's different. We're all individuals.
Absolutely, yeah. And a lot of people will turn around, how many miles? What's the most amount of miles you've ever covered in a day? And you're like, well, realistically, anyone can sit on a bike and ride all day, can't they? You know what I mean? Like, you can do that. Push yourself through it. But what's the point? Unless you have to do it, what's the point?
Yeah.
Because you don't see anything.
You don't see anything. It's boring. You get sore ass. You get tired, hungry, maybe even cold and wet, and it's not fun.
No.
Actually, it's genuinely not fun. I'd rather do, like Holly said, just like 30 miles in a day off road in some very spectacular place than 600 on the motorway across Germany.
Yeah, definitely.
You've made a lot of miles up, but it's boring.
Yeah, you've got nothing to show for what you've done except flat tires and a sore arse.
And a very developed callus on your ass.
And lots of people who think you're on a bigger bike than you actually are and are slowing them down to annoy you.
Yeah.
That's the problem with, there you go, people. That's the problem with the terrain, is people think it's bigger than it is.
Well, it is, isn't it? Because it physically is quite a big bike.
Physically a great size, yeah. But everyone looks at it and goes, that's a 500.
No.
No.
Why are you going so slowly? I promise it's not to annoy you.
Yeah. Someone said, did you intend to stop at Brighton, but the brakes wouldn't work? Now, that goes from, I don't know if you've seen any of the vids I've done on the Apache or the first episode of the Big Little Adventure with Richie, Vera and John. I had the Sinnis Apache and the brakes were atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. But I don't remember that on the terrain. I thought the terrain was all right. Did you have any brake issues?
No, they're good.
They're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. With the brake, we've had zero issues.
No, they stopped me going off many cliffs.
Yeah. And we've literally only just 16,000 miles done now on Holly's terrain. We've only just changed the front brake pads.
Seriously?
So.
Blimey.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we did it 2 days ago.
And is it, I can't remember, is the terrain a single caliper front brake or double?
And that was the factory standard ones.
Sorry, you broke. I lost you there. What?
Sorry, I think our internet's a little bit rubbish because we're stealing it from the climbing wall.
Oh, yeah. Realigning for operational purposes.
Well, we're in the van. Yeah, we're in the van at the moment.
Oh, this is the van, isn't it? You do the old van life, don't you?
This is our home.
Wow. How long have you lived in the van?
2 years now.
Wow, that's incredible. See what I mean, people?
And you know that because the insurance is due next year.
There is
next week.
So much more to these two folks. I mean, geez, we could just chat about there were so many things when we were on the bike and we were riding around, and it would just come into conversation about, oh well, I hitchhiked to Norway. But anyway, we'll start chatting about, let's start chatting about, oh, this is a nice road. And I'm like, well, hang on a minute. What do you mean you hitchhiked to Norway or your ear fell off in the gates of hell? It's like, there's so much going on already in your lives. What's the story with the van? What brought it in? What brought it all around?
I think that might have been me again.
We're seeing a theme here.
Willie was looking at a boat, wasn't he?
Yeah. He wanted a boat. I think I wanted a van.
We couldn't get a boat.
We couldn't get a boat because all of the permanent moorings in London are full, and you can't constantly move around unless you go a certain distance.
Oh, I didn't know.
Which is really weird, and it was going to be pretty expensive. So we got a van.
Oh, we got an ambulance.
Yeah, it's an ambulance. And because it's an ambulance, it's got a ramp on the back, which means that we can drive 2 bikes in. We've got anchor points underneath the carpet, and we strap down the motorbikes, push the bed up to the ceiling, and then we can take the bikes wherever we want.
Fantastic. You guys have got like the perfect life.
Yes,
we do.
Awesome. So let's go to the boat. What sort of boat? Canal boat? Like a barge?
Yeah.
Oh,
we're looking for a canal boat because we both work in London. So yeah, just a nice little canal boat, go along the Thames. It would have been lovely. But yeah, you just can't get a mooring in London these days.
Can you not?
They've all been sold.
My mate Blokey, he's retired, old Bill. He bought himself a canal barge, and he's sort of like 6 months of the year he's just cruising round, as far up as Blackpool. I think he's even taken it up into Scotland along some of the canals, and he's been down to London, and I think I might be wrong in this, but I think he sailed it across into France.
Wait,
I'm sure, or. Well, it has been done. Definitely has been done, because I know Nick Sanders has done it on. Well, he actually strapped 2 canal boats together and stood. Have you never seen that? Nick Sanders is the guy that's been around the world on R1s and Fireblades and stuff.
Oh yes,
crazy Welsh guy. Well, he crossed the English Channel, stood between 2 canal barges that were lashed together, and he sailed them across. Yeah, nuts. He cycled around the world.
When he made Birth in France, did he have like Rise of the Valkyries over the speakers?
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Just like that between the two. That's what I'm imagining.
My mate Blokey would have, if my mate Blokey sailed his across, that's definitely what he would do, definitely. I don't know for sure if my mate did that or if he just went across and got a canal boat over there. Yeah. But he's definitely been on the canals around through France and Holland and all those places. But yeah, that's what he does. Sort of 6 months of the year, he lives on his canal barge all around England and Scotland and loves it. Great life.
A nice life, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So do you think that's something you might do eventually, or
I don't know. Maybe.
We've actually never spoken about it since, have we? Since we've had the van, we've been quite happy here.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, van is much more convenient for going climbing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And a lot of other things as well, because we're not restricted by just going on water. So.
Yeah. Well, there's more and more people doing van life now, isn't there? It seems to be a really popular thing.
It is, because of housing costs. They're ridiculous, and just it's been a very normal thing within the climbing community for generations, because people drive to where the climbing is and sleep in the back of the van.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
I mean, especially route setters, which is the job I have, they drive around so many different climbing walls, some of them all over the country. So there's no point having one place where you live.
Yeah. You got me jealous now. we've got an old VW camper van out the back there, and we don't use that as much as we should. In fact, I personally haven't been in it for probably a year, 2 years. My wife drives. She goes to car boots and stuff, and she uses it for car boots, and she goes down to see her mates in Devon and that. But we definitely should use it a lot more.
Put a tow bar on the back. You can take the BMW with you.
I've said that, but she won't have it. She won't.
Oh, what?
Well,
That's a great way to do it.
To be honest, her VW would struggle to tow. I think I'd have to tow the VW with the tractor. All right, cool. Guys, I've got over 2 hours here, believe it or not.
Bloody hell.
Crazy. Sheesh. God, what else can we chat about? Like, this is what I mean with you guys. There's so much that you've done that you don't shout from the rooftops about it.
It's it's weird you say that, because like we always talk about it, and it's like whenever we go to like the Overland event or the MCN shows or wherever it is, it's like, to be honest, we always look at what everyone else has done and just go, well, they've gone around the world. I think they call it imposter syndrome. It's just like we genuinely don't feel like what we've done is that special. It's just we've looked at it and gone, well, that looks like fun, we'll do that.
But that's all anyone's done, though, isn't it? It's just go and ride around the world, or hitchhike to Nordkap, all this sort of stuff. It's just, I think it's just not everybody is capable of doing trips like that. Not everybody. I think most people would want to, but not everybody will see it through. So for those that do actually see it through, you don't think it's as big an achievement as it actually really is, because there's not that many people out there that have done it. So good on you.
A lot of the things I've done are objectively pretty damn awesome. But I think my biggest achievement in my whole life, which I'm actually happiest about, is quitting my PhD.
Is it?
Because, I was there and I was like, oh, I've got to finish this. But there was no real reason why I had to finish it. It was just what I'd always done. I'd always done astrophysics. And I was like, oh, well, I've worked really hard to get here. I should really carry on. I could work for NASA or the European Space Agency or whatever. But I was miserable. And it was so hard to realize that I could actually quit and change my life.
Yeah.
But once I did, I was like, I can actually do anything.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, you can do anything with your life at any point.
It's down to
be
you.
In the middle of something and just leave. It might suck, but you can do it.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Like, there is always a choice. Even if it's a terrible choice, there's always a choice.
You just weren't on your path, were you? You just weren't on the right path for you, and there comes a time, doesn't there, when... Well, again, not for everybody, because there's plenty of people out there that I think are in a lifestyle or a way of life that they're not happy with. They're not fulfilled with it. It's not what they want, but maybe they don't know what they want, or haven't figured out a way out yet, and they go through their entire life in that path. So again, it sort of sets you apart, really, when you put the brakes on and you go, okay, enough. I'm going to make that leap now. Time to go for it. Fair play to you. It normally happens a bit later in life, not, but fair play to you on that. Wow, astrophysics.
Yeah, I mean, I was always good at maths and physics and found it easy, so I just carried on with it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think for me, one of the things that really helped me actually decide and realize I'd be okay, I read a book which is free online. It's called Rich Without Money, I think, and it's this guy, and he lives without money for a very long time. And I was like, well, if he can do that, I can do that. So then I started finding ways to eat without spending money. So there's some, in Germany at least, there's food sharing points where people put food that they don't need, or maybe they're going on holiday and it'll go out of date. So I started going to those and getting it for free. Farmers sometimes donate their surplus crops. You can go to restaurants and be like, you got any leftovers? And I just started doing that. And I realized I can quit and live without money. Because I'd already been doing couch surfing and hitchhiking. So I was like, I can travel without money. I can find places to stay without money. Now I can eat without money. And that just sort of went, even if nothing works out, I'll be okay.
Blimey. Well, if COVID keeps going the way it's going, I think you'll be doing fine, and everyone else is going to have to try and figure out how to survive without money. Blimey. That's an amazing story. God. So how did you two meet? How did the paths cross?
Well, when I got back from Norway and I didn't really know what to do, actually the reason I came back from Norway was because I got a job interview where I work now. I was like, oh, I like climbing. I'll try and work in a climbing wall. And found a job, applied for it, got an interview, came back to London for the interview and got the job. And he was already working there. And that's how we met.
Awesome.
I was actually really annoyed with him the first day we met because I had to get up early to get to where I was meant to be. And he was the centre manager and he was late. And I was really tired.
It's meant to be, because you're meant to annoy the other half. That's just life.
You got to go for a good first impression.
That's
That's what
it.
I say.
Did you just waltz in, like not even say hello?
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm late.
Yeah.
I'm late. Never mind.
Whatever.
Awesome. I love that. You know, like the whole channel, the whole thing behind TeapotOne for me is based on those words, live your life, you know, and it's just like, as we've discussed here, you're never just stuck with your lot. I'm a firm believer in that. You're never stuck with your lot in life. It's ultimately your decision. It can be incredibly hard to make that change. You can feel like you may be in a position where whatever direction you turn, how do I get out of this? How do I change things? It's just not possible. I can't do it. But I love to have people like you on who have done these amazing things, who have pushed themselves, who have changed the direction that their lives were going, and I just find it really inspiring to have people like yourselves on who can prove to others it can be done. You know, you can live your dream, can't you? You can change what direction you're going. So good on you. Thank you very much for coming on.
Yeah, like you did.
Well, yeah, but
Thank you for having
It's
us.
always a pleasure to chat to you, Bruce. You know that.
I genuinely enjoy chatting with you guys. It's been a revelation to meet you. I'm glad our paths crossed, and yeah, nice one. Before we go, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to? Have you got any projects lined up that you want to have a chat about? Is there anything at all that you'd like covered? Any social media that you'd like? What was that?
Well, with the website, which is ridingfromreality.com,
Mm-hmm.
and we do sell stickers and t-shirts and things like that.
Cool. And if people...
Oh, and if you want any artwork commissions, I start doing that.
And where do people... Is that through Riding From Reality? Did you get that? How do people contact you for that sort of stuff then? Is it through Riding From Reality, or how do they contact you?
Yeah, that'll do.
Yeah, just through that. Awesome.
Anyway, like Facebook, Riding From Reality, Instagram, anything.
Cool.
It's not hard to miss us, really. Just come down to the climbing wall. That'll work too.
Well, yeah. Can you say where that is?
Oh yeah, it's in. So there's a couple in central London in the Vauxhall area.
And what's you broke? I think the internet is
Vauxhall West and Vauxhall East.
And what's the name of the company?
Yeah, too many climbers on the internet this evening. They should be climbing instead. So yeah, we work at the Vauxhall centres in Vauxhall in London.
Vauxhall.
So right in the centre of London.
Okay. If you
we're very punny, our climbers.
If you send me the details for that, like for your website and for the Vauxhall places, I'll put links in the show notes, folks. So if you are interested in finding out more about either the climbing or want to contact Paul and Holly, find out a little bit more about their story, then check out the show notes. If you're listening to the podcast, look at the show notes. If you're watching the YouTube video, look at the description down below, and there'll be links to everything. Bless you. There'll be links to everything there. Cool. Right. Well, I reckon that'll do us.
Thanks for chatting again, Bruce.
Unless you want to hear about what we've got lined up, but
yeah, no, please do. Go on, then. What's the future hold?
There's actually something that we've not spoken quite openly about, but we've currently got two options, and COVID's sort of going to end up making a choice for us.
Mm-hmm.
So we've been planning for the past, well, probably since we actually finished doing the rally, to move out of London at last. I'm getting to the age now where it's just a bit too noisy for me. I'm sure you can understand that one,
I don't know what you mean.
Yeah. And we was going to move up to North Wales.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and we was going to start our own sort of motorcycle tour thing, very similar to what Nathan's doing, but on little Sinnis Terrains for people who don't have a full license, you know, on a CBT, who want to try and actually see what the whole thing's about. Because there's nothing out there for them at the moment.
Mm.
So at the moment, that's potentially postponed due to COVID. So we was going to start that in the new year, but it's looking unlikely at the moment.
So if people are interested, because I'm sure there's people out there going, God, yes. Again, writing from reality through your website, through Instagram.
It's nothing's up there at the moment. Like I said, we haven't really announced it to anyone. So you're the first.
Well, you just have.
Across the internet.
50,000 downloads. You've just announced it.
Yeah, but that will remain on hold due to COVID. If COVID does hold it a bit longer, then our second plan is to actually go one step further than the Mongol Rally and then actually go around the world.
Mega. What on what bikes? Any ideas?
To be seen.
Beautiful.
No idea.
Yeah.
Depends if I pass my test.
There's a good point. I can take anything I like, but
Yeah.
No idea. I might go on my CB500. I might go on a Sinnis 380. I don't know. There's still so much to go on in life at the moment. But yeah, we may just go very, very slowly around the world, off-road, and go from climbing spot to climbing spot.
Brilliant.
On the bikes.
Make sure you document it this time, because on the Mongol, you.
It's just double everything.
I thought you got nicked.
That's right. We haven't even covered that. You basically had your hard drive stopped. Was it in Mongolia?
Yeah, no, it's in Russia, in Ulan Ude.
Oh, all the way to Ulan Ude, all the way to the end.
Yeah, got to the end. We packed everything into the van. Someone broke into our van and stole all of our camera footage and cameras and stuff.
Oh.
That annoys everyone.
Oh
Yeah.
My God. Yeah, but you've got some pictures, don't you? Because I've noticed you started putting some more pictures up on Insta and stuff.
Yeah, we've got about 300-400 pictures out of the 10,000 we took. But it's better than a poke in the eye with a sharp stick.
It is, mate. You're just gonna have to do it again.
Yeah, that's exactly what we said, and we have made our peace with it at last.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
it was a very bitter pill to swallow for a long time.
I bet. Oh, I bet. And there's us going on about how it all reaffirms your faith in humanity and stuff, and then some scumbag nicks it. But it's life, isn't it? It's life.
Two sides of every coin.
Definitely.
Are we still going to do the tour bit, even if we go around the world first?
Yeah, it'll just be on hold. It's definitely the future plan.
I'm loving it. Good. What a great place to end. I love that. A little slice of anticipation as to what the future is going to hold. That small CC adventure tours, that's a winner. That's a good idea. Absolutely good idea.
Really hope so.
The interest that we've had just off of putting up a couple of vids on little 125cc bikes, just doing like a quick lads trip around the Peak District, and then we've still got the next 2 episodes to come, which are in Wales. The interest of that has been amazing. I genuinely think there's going to be a huge surge in interest around small CC bikes. Definitely. Get in on that. Get it done.
You'll be on the first tour, Bruce, don't you worry.
Genuinely, I'd love to. I would love to do something like that with you. Be brilliant.
Have you as well?
Awesome. Cool, guys. Well, an absolute pleasure to chat with you again. And hopefully this has all worked this time and we can share it with everybody. Awesome. Right, well, you guys look after yourselves. Keep doing what you're doing for sure, because it's very inspiring. It's been a pleasure. Right, folks, I hope you've enjoyed that one. Please do check out Paul and Holly. Check out the Riding from Reality, the website. Like I said, all the links are going to be down there. There's so much more to what these two have been up to than what we've chatted here, but they're definitely people to check out and obviously to follow into the future to see what goes on there. Folks, I hope you've got something from this. I hope you found it inspiring. I certainly have. What else can we say about the situation at the moment? It is what it is, people. Just look after those that you love. Keep doing your thing. Get on out there and live your life. Hoo-ha!